What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at the all-new 2024 Nissan Z Nismo edition. This one's finished off in the stealth gray and super black. MSRP is $68,000. Big shout out and thank you to Garber Nissan for providing this new Nismo for today's video. Take a look at their website, linked down below. Underneath the hood of the 2024 Nissan Z Nismo, you're going to find the 3-liter twin turbocharged V6 engine. It pumps out 420 horsepower with 384 pound-feet of torque, only paired to the 9-speed automatic transmission, sending all the power to the rear wheels through a limited slip rear differential. And running on a 16.4 gallon fuel tank, you're looking at 17 miles per gallon in the city with 24 out on the highway. Overall curb weight is 3,700 pounds. It can do 0 to 60 in about 4 seconds. And the Nismo also features 15-inch front rotors. They're of course ventilated. They feature the 4-piston Akebono brake caliper. In back, you get 13.8-inch ventilated rotors with a 2-piston caliper. The Nismo Z also gets an upgraded tuned suspension, raised forged wheels, retuned mapping for the electronic power steering for much quicker response, and the addition to Sport Plus mode for even quicker shifting. Overall length is 173.2 inches with a wheelbase at 100.4. Height is 51.8 and width is 73.6 inches. Moving on to the exterior styling now with the Nismo Edition Nissan Z. This is a big step up over the sport as well as the performance in style. This looks really aggressive. I love the color with all the red accents. Taking a look at the headlights, you can see the really cool daytime running lights in them. I really like the black housing. Of course, all LED, really nicely sunken into the bodywork. It all leads forward to the new Nissan logo right in the center, and you have some nice points throughout the center of the bumper, as well as the sharp lines leading off of these headlights. Got your Nismo badge on the far side, all surrounded by gloss black trim. We have a huge opening in the center to provide a ton of cooling to the radiators throughout the car. There's also forward parking sensors. You can see the gloss black in the center with more of this red trim, and I really like how the gray color cuts around it to give it that aggressive style. You can also see the winglets on the far side, and they fade up towards these fender flares. I think overall the Nismo really does look super good up front. It kind of fixes the quirky styling of the big square grille on the other cars. But really good looking front end, and I like how that sharp line cuts right into the hood with a massive bubble design in the upper portion of the hood as well. You're going to see parking sensors on the side of the front bumper, and like a low-slung 2-door sports car, you get a pretty long hood, so it gives it a really cool kind of fastback design like a classic 240Z or something like that. And then at the side profile, you're going to see these really nice Nismo wheels. Forged lightweight wheels, of course, bigger brakes than the standard Z Performance, and these massive Akebono brake calipers up in front finished in red. The Nismo also has performance suspension, upgraded tires, 19-inch wheels. I really like the gloss color. You can see these sleek lines in the front fender, and then down below on the sides here, we have more of that red and gloss black trim cutting towards the back. You can see the flush design for these body color door handles, and then gloss black on the mirror caps with more of that red accent. We have an LED turn signal as well. And then you can see the blacked out design for the A-pillar. It fades right into the two-tone design for the roof, really giving it a sporty appearance. And I like the silver katana blade style for this side. We also have a sharp line in the upper portion of that roof that blends nicely. And the overall side profile looks great. Of course, the two-tone roof really slopes into the rear end and gives it a performance-looking style. You're also going to see the Z badge in back. Really nice design. We have our massive gas cap on the passenger side along the rear fender, but I do like how the sleek body lines just curve together very well. In back, that two-tone design cuts its way into the trunk. You can see how the upper portion of the trunk is also painted in that gloss black color, contrasting the gray paint. Now in back, we have a much larger lip spoiler comparing it to the performance model. Looks really good in back, and I like how it cuts onto the rear fender arches. And then we have a nice set of LED taillights, looking like that old school design as well. All blacked out housing, got the Nissan Z badge, backup camera in the center, trunk release is in the Nissan logo. Of course, we're gonna have the Nismo logo, gloss black trim with all your parking sensors, and then more of the red trim all surrounding it. We have a dual exhaust system, and the design comes together. Seriously, the Nismo looks so good. I love all the styles, how everything comes together, and the fender flares in all four corners really add to the width of it, and it really comes together nicely. Moving on to the key fob, we get lock, unlock, and the new Nissan logo. Tapping the lock button, of course, we can lock it, and you can leave the key fob in your pocket and just press this button and open it up. I really like the flush mounted door handle design. Now for the Nismo, you're gonna get these really cool Recaro bucket seats. They look fantastic, red trim throughout the interior. On the door panel, you get the same normal soft touch plastic, and then this micro suede material finished in black. There's also this gray or black synthetic leather material as well. Got your grab handle, window controls, mirror controls, release handle up above that with one of your air vents. Of course, a Bose audio system, and then cup holder and storage down below. You have the Z logo with some aluminum along the door sill, and it has a nice color to it. We have manual controls on these bucket seats. You can raise the base up in the front as well as the back. Recline is this lever back here, and then we have a slider lever in the front. We got Nismo Z along the floor mats along with aluminum pedals, and then these seats are fantastic. You can see the perforated Alcantara throughout the center, and there's even red throughout each hole. And then the nice leather material for these bolsters. They have a really good look on the bottom. And then making our way up the backrest, you can see more red stitching, black Alcantara, with then the red leather right throughout the center. I love the Recaro name and Nismo up on the headrest. Really thin, single piece backs. These are one of the coolest bucket seats for sure. And then we have a nice black steering wheel with the leather on the top and bottom, Alcantara on the sides, and then the red stripe up on top with contrast stitching. And then now inside the Nismo Nissan Z, keeping my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. Taking a look at the gauge cluster now, you're going to see that turbo boost gauge on the left side, massive tack in the center along with your gear and speed on the top. We have some vitals over on the far right side, and then the shift lights are up above as well. You can scroll on this left side and see a few things on this left side as well. Of course, that boost gauge, G-force meter. You can go into settings as well, shift indicator, TPMS, all sorts of different items. And then if you tap this icon right here, we can change the meter view so you can have a more normal design as well. Of course, I would leave it in the sport mode. It looks really cool. Of course, you have other settings you're able to adjust. In the enhanced mode, this is nice if you are going to use navigation or something, because in the center you have all sorts of different safety information. You have audio, of course the nav will pop up in the center, which is really good for long trips, TPMS, more things like that. So I like how you do have a pretty configurable screen, and then of course a good one for the fun. Now along the steering wheel, you can see that Z logo. We have some Bluetooth and audio controls on the left side. Cruise control settings are on the right with forward collision. Really nice look at the steering wheel. Now the Nismo does not offer a 6-speed manual, so you just have the 9-speed automatic with the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. They're a pretty good design, maybe 4-inch paddles. On the far right side, you're going to see all the windshield wiper controls. Left stalk is for the headlights and turn signal. And then down below on the left, you have your traction control button. You have the nice 3 gauges right in the center, which is classic for a Nissan Z. We have the boost gauge on the left. You're also going to see the turbo speed as well as the volts for your battery. You have some more of this black material running across the entire dashboard, and then the black vinyl leather with white stitching. 2 of your air vents, and then our Nissan infotainment, which is pretty typical like any other modern Nissan. We have shortcuts down below for your audio. You also have the menu icon. You can go into your map as well, see all of that. We have a shortcut for camera as well, you're able to see. Of course, it is touchscreen. So if we go back to the main menu, you can scroll left and right, see a few different icons. You can customize a lot of this as well. You can see all of that. And then if we go ahead and take the transmission, push us into reverse, we have a nice size backup camera with HD graphics. Tapping the P button, we're back into park. Underneath that, we have all the climate controls. You can see your fan speed and off, temperature right in the center, all of your different zones. There's a little bit of storage with 2 USB ports, and then our drive mode. So if I toggle this, you can see our Sport, Sport Plus, and then down into the standard mode. On the shifter, you can scroll all the way down into drive and then our manual. And you can see some leather material for these knee pads. And then in the center, we just have our trunk release button and then a cup holder. We have a manual park and brake as well. And then I like in the center, if you press this button, we can open this up. It reveals more storage space along with another cup holder, which you can easily gain access to by sliding that back. Glove box on the right side, as you would expect. And then one last look at the interior, pretty much the same as the Z Performance. However, we get the addition to the Sport Plus mode, the Alcantara along the steering wheel, and of course the Recaro seats are a nice touch. The passenger seat does not have the same base as the driver, so you're gonna have bigger bolsters over here. These are the standard bases, but you still get the Alcantara and the nice backs with all the stitching. Up on top, you can see all the dome lights up here, and then just a nice mirror with garage door buttons, and then a pretty large sun visor. And then after sliding the driver's seat forwards to take a look at what is behind these seats, you do have two storage cubbies, which is really good. You can put some small bags or something back here to make this a pretty practical two-seat sports car. Now in back, right in the Nissan badge, you can pinch that and it's gonna automatically pop the trunk. And back here, you have a pretty good sized trunk. Of course, the same size as the last several generations of the Nissan Z cars. But overall, pretty roomy in here. Nice trunk carpet, a small LED. So pretty roomy for being a small car. And then there's no handles or anything, just grab it by the wing and we can easily close it up. All right, we are setting off now in the Nismo edition. So when you're in Sport Plus mode, you can definitely feel the tail end likes to get out, and I'm not even obviously pushing it hard, but you can tell this car wants to go. One thing funny, when you downshift, you hear some pops. It is totally coming from the speakers. You can literally hear it by your feet. So a little funny to have that artificial sound. Even just like short shifting this, it does feel really quick. Even the normal Z, I mean, it is a fast car. One of my biggest complaints with a 9-speed on the Performance is it's just a slow transmission. When you hit the paddle, there's like a 500 RPM delay. So far in Sport Plus, this is already feeling significantly quicker to shift. So we'll get going again and feel that out. Way quicker and snappy response. So that is a really good thing. Good job, Nissan. Thank you for giving us Sport Plus mode. I think that lightens up the transmission exactly where I want it to be. Kind of kicks you in the back a little bit. It adds some drama for sure. If we go into sport mode, you still get the fake pops in the speakers. Transmission still feels really snappy and everything, so that is a good touch. I think they've tuned the transmission much better. I really like the suspension. It feels really stiff. It feels so much lighter than the normal Performance, even though this car actually weighs a little bit more. This is heavier than a Toyota Supra, so for whatever reason, it does have some weight to it. But it just feels a lot more responsive. Of course, I can't really take it on some crazy twisty turns today. But this thing feels so snappy and responsive, and I don't hate the transmission. I still would love a manual, but I am not hating the 9-speed, which I'm kind of blown away that I'm saying that, but it's kind of fun to drive this, honestly. The bucket seats, I had these seats in my Nismo 2016 model year car. I loved the seats. I fit so well in them. It just fits me so nicely. It does feel like a pretty lively car. Like literally, this feels pretty fun just around town on these kind of city roads. It feels much more darty than the normal car. Hopefully I can get one of these to take out in the mountains that I'm used to driving on. But already this feels like a much more lively car comparing it to the standard Performance. Biggest complaint is going to be this is $10,000 more than a Toyota Supra. So kind of crazy. Nissan has just kind of gone a little mind-blowing with their pricing, I would say. But I will say, comparing this to the Performance, this does feel like a step up. Hard to tell about power, given I can't really go too quick today. But it feels like a darty, lively car that just wants to be thrashed on and give you something that you have to control. I've seen some mixed reviews of these cars, but it seems like a car that you have to control it and you gotta really work to drive it well. All right, so turning around to my honest thoughts perspective. I've got to say, this is really fun to drive around the way I'm driving it today. Now, obviously, I'm not able to test this on the mountain roads, the country roads that I'm used to driving on, kind of more in the city, a couple accelerations, can't really play with the handling. Of course, I've had a love-hate relationship with the Nissan Z. As those of you who are regular viewers to our channel know, I had a 2020 Supra, sold it after 2 years to buy the new Z, drove quite a few of the new Z Performances, and I just couldn't pull the trigger. It was just too soft. And then for $6 grand more, I bought the new manual Supra, which was better in every single possible way. Now, my manual Supra was $58,000. This is $10,000 more. This is as much as our RS3 that we just bought. I mean, this is fast. I can definitely tell it's a fast car. I never thought they were not fast. The transmission is way more snappy than it ever was. It feels kind of like the Z of 8-speed. I really don't think I have any complaints with the transmission, especially given the Sport Plus mode. It really does dial in the sharpness that I would want if I have to have an automatic. Of course, the Z of 8-speed in a Supra is fantastic. The dual clutch in our RS3 is fantastic. The normal Z Performance automatic, I just could not like it. It's too slow. There is such a delay when you hit the paddle and then it goes another 500 RPM and then shifts. That's unacceptable. This car doesn't do that. This thing's snappy. I know Nissan tuned it much better. I like that. Suspension in this, I like how stiff this feels. When I had my 2016 Nismo, I loved it. It was so much cooler than my 2012 Sport Z. So I've owned several Zs. Of course, I had the R35 GTR for 5.5 years. The fake speaker pops, that is definitely, I would deactivate that because that definitely sounds very, very fake. But this is cool. This is fun to drive in this circumstance, at least. It's fast, it's fun, it keeps you on your toes. Man, in between shifts, you can just feel that back end. This is a car that you're gonna have to control. So it seems like to me the Nismo Z, I think it is a worthwhile car to buy, at least driving it the way I'm driving it today. It feels really cool. It does feel a little more special, actually a lot more special than the performance, mainly because it feels like the power is more lively. It feels so much more tight. The seats are way more comfortable and they fit me much better. So personally, I feel like this is a lot better than the normal Z. Again, the price point's the biggest thing to where it's 10 grand more than a Supra. I don't know if it's 10 grand more fun than a Supra though. I would really have to, of course, side by side on the mountains or something to know. But I think if you are looking for a sub $70,000 sports car, I would put this on the list. I would consider for sure. At this price point though, you're looking at a BMW M2 as well. It has back seats, a lot more power, manual availability, and a beautiful BMW interior. That is kind of hard to argue with. For 70 grand personally, I probably would go with the Beamer, but at the same time, man, it's a toss-up. It is tough. It's a tougher choice than I originally expected to be saying, because I am an M2 fan. But 10 grand less, you can get a Supra as well. Same price, you get an RS3. But it is fun. I'm having fun with it. I think it's cool. I think it's got a lot going for it. Just is a nice chunk of change, I would say. But, I don't know. Comment below, what do you guys think of the Nismo Z? I've seen a lot of mixed reviews. Some people really hated it. Some people loved it. I am liking this way more than I expected because I loved the Z when it came out, and then I kind of fell off, not really justifying the price. Love my Supra more. I still stand by that by far. Supra's definitely a better car than the Performance Z. The Nismo Z, though, I would say is at least on par with the Supra. I think that's the biggest thing. It is at least right there with it. I think these seats are better. I think this does look cooler. I think it looks more special. I will say I'm sure this doesn't quite handle as pinpointy given it weighs more, has a longer wheelbase as well. So I would have to see on that. But it's snappy transmission, it's fast, it looks awesome. You are hugged in these seats. It has a lot going for it. It really, really does. So that is it for at least my test drive of the 2024 Nismo Edition Nissan Z. I really hope I can take one of these on the mountains and push it a lot harder. But in this circumstance around town, just some accelerations, not really turning too hard. It is fun for this circumstance. I'm enjoying this a lot. Huge shout out and thank you once again to Garber Nissan for providing this car for today's video. Take a look at their website, linked down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you all in the next video.